Hey boys and girls, it's Mrs. Shepherd. I hope you're doing great and you've had a great first week at school. Some of you have already started school and I hope it's going great. Well, I have another really fun book to read to you. It's kind of funny. I love it. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about maybe obedience and disobedience. Sometimes it's not really fun to talk about. But how many of you are perfect? Like you always obey your parents all the time. You do everything they say. Or how many of you were like me, didn't always do exactly what you were told all the time? You kind of were disobedient and you got in trouble for it now and then. Well, I'm going to read you a book today about a little boy who was disobedient, and he kind of made up a little scheme to figure out how he could get around not doing what his mom and dad said. And then we're going to talk about what God has to say about being obedient and doing what your parents ask you to do. All right, here's the fun book. It is called You Can't Go to School Naked. Isn't that funny? You can't go to school naked. Don't you know that? Here it is. It's by Dianne Billstrom and illustrated by Kilpatrick III. Let's get started reading this funny book. You can't go to school naked. I must wear clothes. That's what you say? I don't like clothes, I say. No way. Look at his mom and dad. Seriously, you have to wear clothes. You can't go to school naked. That is a rule. You must wear clothes when you go to school. What would you do with no pockets for things like pencil stubs, marbles, and sprocket springs? If you went to school naked, your teacher would think you must be a pig, all bristly and pink. Being a pig, all bristly and pink, you'd roll in the mud. Phew, you would stink. If you went to school naked when the sun's overhead, you would get a sunburn and turn very red. You might be confused with a big red tomato stewed in a pot with a russet potato. Without your clothes in the winter, you'd freeze. Your skin would turn blue. There'd be frost to your knees. You should wear clothes to stay warm and snug. You could get sick, catch a flu bug. While at an easel with brush and paint, not wearing clothing, or finger painting with constraint. Not wearing clothing isn't too smart. You could become your own work of art. If you went to school naked, could you play ball, steal second base? No, not at all. On the playground, if you slid down the slide without your clothes, you'd have quite a ride. Especially near summer with your exposed hide, you'd come out all crispy like a big French fry. During show and tell, what would you do if a toad or a snail was handed to you? They tend to like to creep and decline. You could become a huge mess of slime. You can't go to school naked. Come to your senses. Consider, if you please, the consequences. Is it true? Is it true what they have said? He began to mumble as he crawled into bed. His mind was racing through muddy pigsties, simmering stews, even slime in his eyes. He tossed and turned so much in his dream. By the time he woke up, he thought of a scheme. As long as I'm covered, you say I can't lose. If I have to wear clothes, here's what I choose. There it is. He didn't end up going to school naked after all. He decided he would wear some fun clothes. I love that book. Isn't it funny? Well, I know some of you might wear uniforms to school, or you might get to pick what you wear to school. And sometimes your parents pick out your clothes, and it may not be exactly what you choose. But being obedient is what we need to do, right? And we're also supposed to do everything with a happy heart. Do you do everything with a happy heart? Sometimes that can be hard, right? Sometimes we wake up grumpy and we don't feel like doing everything with a happy heart. But we're not supposed to do everything by what we feel, are we? We're supposed to just do it because it's what's right. Well, today I got out my wonderful Bible again, and I looked up some great scriptures for us to study a little bit today to go along with this book. Because sometimes following directions is not always fun, and being obedient isn't always fun, but it's not about being fun, right? It's about doing what's right. And I looked up John 14:15, and it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Well, that's Jesus. And he's saying, if you love me, keep my commandments. Well, you know, one of the first commandments with a promise is honor your father and mother. Well, honor means part of that is doing what they say. And in Ephesians 6:1, it says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. He didn't say because it's easy. He said because it's right. That means you just have to do it. Even it may not be what you want to wear to school that day, or picking up your room, or being nice to your little sister or big brother, even when they're not being nice to you because mom and dad told you to. You have to do it because the Bible tells you to do it. And God says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. 2 John 1:6 says, and this is love, that we walk in obedience in his commands. Well, the commands are the 10 commandments. As you have heard from the beginning, his commands is that you walk in love. Well, what is love? Well, remember, we've talked about 1 Corinthians 13:4. And let's go back to studying. If you weren't with me before and you don't even know what love is, what is 1 Corinthians 13:4? Well, you can get a Bible or ask your mom and dad to get you a Bible if you don't have one, and you can look it up. I put these cool little tabs on my Bible so I know where to find 1 Corinthians. And you look it up, it's 1 Corinthians 13:4, and it says, love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous. That means if somebody's wearing a dress that you really wanted or has a new toy that you really wanted, you don't get jealous. You're happy for them that they got it. And you can ask God to give you one too. That you're not boastful. You don't go around and acting like you're the best on the baseball field or you're the best ballet dancer. That you're not proud. You don't walk around just acting haughty, you know. We're not supposed to have a haughty spirit. You're not rude. Be careful about being rude. Sometimes, you know, we just are tired and we can be rude. Love is not rude. If there's a new kid in your school, make sure you're being kind. Don't be rude to the person at the grocery store. Smile, even if they don't smile back. Not to be selfish. If you have a guest that comes over to your house, it's always kind to let the guest ask the guest what they want to play. It's their time to be at your house. You can always play your own toys with your own toys at your house, but you ask the guest over, so don't be selfish. Ask the guests what they want to play. And vice versa, it's what should happen when you go to their house. Also, being with your brothers and sisters, if they come into your room, be kind. Don't be selfish and tell them to get out. Share your room. That's something you could do too. Love is not easily angered. Another version says it's not irritable or resentful. So that means you've got it really, sometimes, we can get angry pretty easy. Like, that person is getting on my nerves. Why are they always following me around? Something like that. Well, that's not love. God doesn't act like that. So ask God to help you if sometimes that's happening in your life. Another thing that it says, love does not remember wrongdoing. So if someone hurt you or you're upset about something, the Bible says that love doesn't keep record of it. You don't remember it. So just like God says he forgives us and he puts it in the sea of forgetfulness, we need to do that too. We have to let it go, brush it off our shoulder, and just say, Lord, I forgive them, and I need you to forgive me, so help me move on from that. And don't keep record of it. Another thing it says is that love doesn't delight, it's not happy about bad things or evil things. So remember that. Like if somebody trips or falls, don't laugh. Ask them if you could help them up. Or if somebody doesn't get a good grade on something, don't laugh. Just pat them on the back and say, that's okay, you're going to do better next time. Don't get mad at yourself if that happens to you. Just say, Lord, help me next time, or help me do better. I want to succeed, because he wants you to succeed. You are successful. The other thing that it says that love is it rejoices and it's happy in the truth. That's what love is. It also says love always protects. That's something really to think about. Love always protects. What does protect mean? Talk to your mom and dad about that. What does protect mean? Love always trusts. Love always hopes. Hope is a wonderful thing. Love always endures, and love never ends. You know what? In 1 John 4:8, it says God is love. Well, so that means love, God is all of those things we just talked about. So God is love. And if God is in you, if you've asked Jesus in you, God is in you, then love is in you. And that means you can do all of those things, right? So remember, there might be days, there might be times that it's not always easy to follow directions and do things with a happy heart. But our job is to be obedient and do exactly what our parents asked us to do, our teachers asked us to do, and do it with a happy heart. And then in return, God says he's going to bless us for that. That's in the scripture. He tells us that in our Bible. And oh my goodness, talk about blessings. And that's a whole nother thing we can talk about another day. But I'm going to challenge you. I love challenges. So I'm going to challenge you. So for the next week, I want you to work really, really hard on walking in love. All of those things. So if you have to listen to this again and look up 1 Corinthians 13:4, so you can have your mom and dad read it to you, or ask your grandma or your grandpa read it to you. You can even write it down. And I'm going to challenge you to do that. We all have to do that. Everybody, adults, kids, teenagers, everybody has to work on it. Remember I said, he didn't say it was easy. He just said to do it. Well, I love you so much. I'm praying for you. I'm asking God to bless you and prosper you in every area of your life. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Make sure, don't go to school naked. I love you. Bye.